Time now for another round of our Mom Squad, and today we are tackling a topic millions of parents are navigating, and many more will have to navigate in the future. It's called the sandwich generation. That is when a parent has to balance caring for children and their aging parents. Here with steps to make the difficult process a little easier is parent consultant Deborah Porter. And we were just talking about this throughout the other segments and really talking about what a difficult time it is for adults now in this sandwich generation, because there really is no easy way to navigate it. But how do you even begin? Let's start there.
You have to begin by being organized. My suggestion is get access to that paperwork, the will, the insurance, directives before you actually need it. It's a lot easier to have that as opposed to needing it and then having to go look for it. And some of our parents are proud and independent and may not want to share it. Indeed. So you may have to take more than one bite at that apple before you actually get access.
So you're dealing with your parents, but let's not forget the children you do have. Sometimes we have younger children who also need our attention. How do you balance not neglecting them while you're full force focused on your aging parents and maybe some of these very real needs they have about their finances, etc.?
Well, you have to communicate and you have to delegate. If you have siblings, this is not the time to be like, you know what, I can do it all. This is the time to have a conversation with your siblings, or if you have cousins or what have you. But this is a time to really engage the entire family. Because here's the other thing about the sandwich generation. It's not just the raising of our kids and the tending to our parents. Some in the sandwich generation are also financially supporting or helping their adult children. So it's not to mention your own job and your own life that you also have to manage.
And you're talking about yourself. How do you not forget yourself in this process, because you're carrying all of this load? And the first thing is, okay, I've got me, let me take care of everyone else. How do you work towards not forgetting you in this process?
Well, these things may not be as spontaneous as they once were, right? You're not going to just be able to go on a family vacation whenever. You're going to have to plan, and you're going to have to think ahead about what you want to do. But the other thing you really have to consider as well is, you know, here in the DMV, all of the locales have some office on aging, area office on aging, Department of Aging, aging agencies. Reach out to these experts, talk to the professionals, just to get a baseline of where you are, where your parents are, what may be needed in the future or in the coming months, or maybe even down the road. But don't take this on by yourself.
So this may be unpopular, but what if you say, I just can't do it at all? I don't want to do this. Is there a place realistically that you go to where you really can lay all your burdens on the table and say, you deal with it, I can't?
Well, you'll have to be engaged in some capacity, even if the idea is, well, mom and dad can't live here, right? There's got to be somewhere else they can live. Obviously, finances will have a lot to say about what's available to them, how much or how many options they'll have. It's a tough spot.
And I love your last tip, because again, I think in the midst of all of this, you're planning your parents' life, really, your children, yourself. You forget to enjoy life, and you say that's the best. Remember to enjoy life.
You have to remember that you get the right to enjoy the life that you're building.
I love that. I love that. You get to enjoy the life that you're building. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but you have to be intentional about it, correct?
You have to be intentional, and you have to plan it. Right? You have to set aside the time. That means you may have to get coverage or someone else checking in on mom and dad. Look, I'm gone these 2 weeks. I have to tap out. I need a minute. So that's when you engage people. These conversations should be ongoing. Don't wait until something happens to mom and dad to talk about this. Talk about it now.
Do not wait. And you know, what you're saying resonates with me in the sense that it takes a village. And so many of us are so reluctant to ask for help, but you really have to, because you can't do it alone.
You cannot, and you really should not.
Yeah.
This really is an opportunity for everyone to gather as a family and show love and support for what mom and dad have done.
Deborah Porter, how can folks find you and get more information?
DeborahPorter.net.
Easy peasy. All right, do we have a little slate for that? If not, it's DeborahPorter.net. Easy to find her. There you have it, right there on your screen. I know you're a friend to the show, and we see why. Thank you so much for coming on board and sharing these very meaningful tips for those of us in the sandwich generation. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.